friends, good evening. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery. I made it in just in time. Truth is, my wife Denise made an excellent dinner. She said you can either eat it now before, or you can wait till you're done. I didn't want to wait till we were done, till I was done tonight. So I tried to sneak it in before 7, and I just barely made it. Cliff, good evening, buddy. How are you? Brian, how are things, my friend? Eric, nice to have you along with us. Craig Plowman, one of the good guys. One of the truly good guys right there. Craig Plowman. George, I'm sure you're a good guy too. I just don't know you as well as Craig. Hello, Ken. Good evening. I feel like I got pasta in my teeth now. Probably do. I think I'm good. Pretty informal situation, right? When I'm looking at you on a live stream to see if I got food in my teeth. John, good evening. Hello, Ross. Ross, remind me. I want to come back to your information, what we were talking about this morning. I want to make sure to remind people. Dean, how are you? John says, my new boat looks really nice. That new boat, John, is a beautiful boat. I love the new 2025 Angler Quest. I think probably tomorrow morning, because I am going to fish tomorrow morning. I think, actually, I'm going to fish tomorrow. I'm going to fish Friday. I'm going to fish Monday. I think tomorrow I might do a quick walkthrough of that boat so I can post it and let you see it. It's a beautiful boat. The fit and finish on this 2025 is very impressive. Corey, good evening, buddy. I'm doing great. How are you? Jason, nice to have you along with us. Appreciate that so very much. Good to have you with us. Now, if we can get you to join us for a Wednesday night live in person, that would be great. Dave, how you doing, buddy? Hello, Tony. There's Dave. Hello, Tony. I will be out there with you Friday morning, Tony. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to do a little scouting trip. I want to go further east than what I normally do, down in your water, closer to your water. And I want to see what I can find down there. We got a few fish in my hot spot yesterday, my honey hole, and then I had to go deep, and I don't like going deep. Especially, I've got a crew with me on Friday. It's a family. It's 5 people, 3 kids. They're older. They're not young kids. But if I can get fish in there tight and skinny, that'd be great. So I will be out there tomorrow, Tony, kind of doing some recon. It'll just be me, so there's 3 rods, so I don't know how much I can get done, but I will be out there with you Friday as well. Randy, good morning, or good evening. Hello, Jim, how are you? Not a thing, Brian. Not one stinking thing. And the whole food plot thing has kind of got me frustrated because I'll be honest, I don't care what we do with the food plots. If our neighbors bait, that's where the deer go. I'm sure we will put in food plots again. By we, I mean James, my son James. But it's hard to compete with bait. Denise made this pasta salad with some herbs that she pulled out of her garden. And it was really, really good. Steve Wyndham, my good friend, this would be a good time to bring this up. I bring up Steve Wyndham's name because Steve Wyndham of MUCC is basically the guy who's putting this golf outing together. MUCC.org/golf, MUCC.org/golf. We still have openings for players. Not that many yet, but we still have some openings. MUCC.org/golf. We have unlimited openings for sponsors. And by sponsors, I mean if you want to make a cash donation or if you have a product, goods, or services that you would like to donate to us that we can use in the fundraising raffle, and all the money goes to the MUCC Youth Camp, MUCC.org/golf. But don't drag your feet because the event is Friday the 25th. Jeff, good evening. Hello, Paul. Corey, getting geared up and ready to take head for the Sioux for the last tournament prior to the championship. Now, Corey, do you know yet if you will be fishing the championship? Does anybody know, or is that not determined until after the Sioux? Thank you, Brian. Yeah, it'll be fun fishing tomorrow. It's supposed to be a little bit of a northeast wind, but maybe that's not a bad thing. Hey, Tony. Hello, Jim. Brian. Corey, first tourney of the year out of your boat. Excellent. Yeah, Ross, we're going to be at the Lumberjack restaurant in September, the Lumberjack in West Branch. Okay, as long as Ross is here, let me tell you something about Ross. Ross being a good friend of mine, one of the most generous guys you'll ever meet, but he's also a longtime bear hunting guide. He has guided bear hunters here in Michigan for many, many years. The last 4 years, he has guided bear hunters in White River, Ontario, Canada. I love White River, Ontario, Canada. I'll be back up there this year after taking a year or two off and hunt with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. If you would like to hunt with Ross, he was telling me yesterday he found out he has two openings for the August hunt. And Ross, if you don't mind me telling the details, it is a $3,000 hunt, meals, lodging, baits, the bait to hunt over, and bait to put on the bait, in the bait. $3,000. If you decide you want to make your own meals, it's $2,300. And it's not a guaranteed hunt because it's a hunt in the wild, but your odds of seeing a bear or getting a shot at a bear are very, very good. Ross is on here. You can private message him, or you can send me a private message or an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com, and I can put you in touch with Ross. Jerry, good evening. Oh, speaking of events, let me get this out of the way before I forget. Richard P. Smith, noted outdoor writer, is signing books at Jay's in Clare on Friday, and then Saturday at 2 o'clock, he's being inducted along with the former DNR wildlife biologist Al Stewart, who is now at the Nimrod Society, Nimrod Group at Hillsdale. They are being inducted into the Michigan Outdoor Writers Hall of Fame at the Weber Center across the parking lot from Jay's on Saturday. Greg, good evening. How are you? Dave just said, I'm just sitting on the porch feeding the mosquitoes. Exactly, Brian says. It's hard to compete with bait. Julie, how are you? Good evening. Hello, Bernie. How goes it? Otto, always a pleasure. Uncle Johnny, my brother. Are Patty and Rai with you tonight? It was so nice to have you and your lovely bride. Johnny, I don't know if people have ever seen you and Aunt Debbie before, I'm sure they ask, how did John Craves, who is a really good-looking guy, I mean, look in the mirror, buddy, you're a good-looking guy. They're thinking, how did John Craves marry a woman 30 years younger? Ken Ruff, my Trinity brother. Ken, your catch yesterday was very impressive. I struggled. Your catch was very impressive. I don't plan to go out there tomorrow where you were. I'm going to try to stay skinny, see if I can pick that water apart. But if there are just no fish there, which is entirely possible this time of year, I might end up where you were yesterday and I think today, and only hope to do as well as you did. Those long leads make me nervous because, like you said, you start running leads that long, and I'm asking for tangles. Randy, good evening, buddy. How are you? Linda is getting the golf game all tuned up. She's looking forward to meeting everyone. Linda, I am looking forward to meeting you. We've never met before, but we've talked here on Wednesday Night Live so many times. I'm looking forward to it, very much so. We have a mutual friend in Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley. Andy is actually golfing with I don't want to call it my secondary foursome, but in my foursome, it's my good friend Lanny Dexter, my brother-in-law Johnny Craves, and my other brother-in-law Rick Fiddler. So my son James golfed with us last year, but this year I got another foursome for the younger guys, being my nephew Ryan. And I said, James, and my son-in-law Aditya, and I said, James, if you want to golf with the guys your age, go for it. He said, yeah, I think I'd like to. So my secondary foursome, and I don't mean to use that word in a negative sense, Ryan, my nephew, James, my son, Aditya, my son-in-law, and Linda, Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley, is their fourth. mucc.org/golf to sign up if you want to join us. Aaron, how are things in Fowlerville? Ross says, sweet. Okay, Steve said we have raffles from Prime Archery, G5, Boning Archery, Fishing Charter, Rapid River Knives, maybe just one, Mystery Ranch backpacks, many more, AR-15 golf ball launcher, a ton of fun challenge holes to win. Maybe something new this year, Steve? Maybe some golf-related games/fundraisers. Also, I got, when I was fishing with Gus from Pizza Sam's yesterday, Steve, I got a package from Pizza Sam's in Midland, including a really nice hoodie, a gift certificate, a couple of other things, so we can add that to the mix. That's the type of thing that if you have, like if you got a, Joe Bean, if you have a lawn care service and you want to offer up, a certificate for lawn care, we would take that because we would then put it in our raffle and use it as a fundraising option. And again, all the money goes back to MUCC Youth Camp. I'm not making a dime on this. Steve's not making a dime on this. MUCC proper is not making a dime on this. All this money goes back to the MUCC Youth Camp. Again, mucc.org/golf, mucc.org/golf. Don't wait, because we're getting tight and time's getting close. Time's getting tight. So the reason, anyway, for going back to this, Linda, you said you're getting your golf game tuned up. I haven't played the last week or so because I've been fishing, but I am playing Sunday with my granddaughter and my granddaughter's boyfriend. After the Sue, but wishful thinking, you're in the top 15 right now and the top 40 make it. You're in, buddy. You're in. Ed Bolodowski, my friend, how are you? Always nice to have you along with us. Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy, taxidermy.com, says, I sent guys up to Ross. They all got bears and rebooked. He does a nice job. Thank you, Scott, for that. Scott, are you going to be able to join us at the golf outing this year? I know you were up there last year. Steve sent me the list, and I made a cursory run through it, but I didn't look close. I didn't see your name on there, Scott. I'd like to see your name on there. Ed says he'll text you later, Ross. He'd like to go bear hunting. Everybody who I think everybody who is a hunter should try bear hunting at least once. It's the type of thing that many people, once they do it, they fall in love with it. The first time I went bear hunting, I was hooked. And now it is my favorite type of hunting. I would rather bear hunt than deer hunt or turkey hunt. I love bear hunting. There we go. Right there. My son-in-law. Aditya, happy Wednesday, just putting Bodie to sleep. And he says, Bob. Aditya and Shelby. Now, this is our fifth grandchild, but he's our newest. He's our youngest. And this kid is a riot. He's an absolute riot. We got to spend some time with him last weekend. Bob. So before he was born, I called him Bean. When he was born, he was named Bodie, which is a very cool name. But all of my grandkids have nicknames. I couldn't think of a nickname for Bodie until he started going Bob. And now his nickname is Bob. And little Bob actually said Grandpa for the first time last weekend. And we all looked at him and said, did you just say Grandpa? And he went, yep. No, he didn't really say yep, but we thought he said yep. Aditya, I was just talking about the golf outing and looking forward to having you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's Friday, July 25th at the West Branch Country Club in beautiful West Branch, mucc.org/golf. Although, Aditya, you are already signed up and ready to rock. Mike Sills, Michigan Outdoorsman. How you doing, buddy? Every time I see your comment here, I think, I keep forgetting to post Mike's pictures. Let's try it again, Mike. Email them to me, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, and I will post them. Help me out, Steve. Al was at our office today. Love him. Al. Who is on here that was named Al? I got a mental block here, Steve. Al. Who's Al? Oh, Al Herman, or Al Stewart. Thank you, Al Stewart, yeah. Newest member of the Michigan Outdoor Writers Hall of Fame. Al Stewart. Great guy. SVRC Marketplace, always listening. Appreciate that, Joe. Hey, are you Randy? Grandpa always said east is least, west is best. If the wind blows from the south, the fish will bite in the mouth. Proven. My grandpa always said that too. My grandpa would not even pick up a fishing rod or head to the water if it was an east wind. He wouldn't do it. Wouldn't even do it. Good evening, Tom. How are you? Nice to have you along with us this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Greg says, Ross, if you want to bring your spouse with you who does not hunt, how much would you charge for that, buddy? Ross says, Scott Keatsman, yes, they're coming back. Had a great time. Made great new friends. Scott, I'm still waiting to see your name on the list for the golf outing. Chris, how are things in Kansas? Linda, I can tell you for a fact that Ken was not using crawlers, and if you keep that up, your spot in the golf outing may suddenly disappear. Yep, Johnny's talking about his wife, Aunt Debbie, who is 30 years younger than he is. 30 years. That's 3 decades. That's a generation. If John Craves was a woman, they'd call him a cougar. His wife is so much younger. Jeff, good evening. A 2-man limit today. Ken Ruff, you are like my hero, buddy. I was hoping to talk to you tonight at church. I didn't make it. So maybe you did. I didn't make it. I might shoot you Ken a text when I get done here or give you a quick call because I'm looking for all the help I can get, as I told you. And I don't want to have to go deep, but I'll take all the intel I can get. So nice job, Ken. Nice job. Enjoying the new boat. It is a beautiful boat, Mike. It's a 2025 Angler Quest QUEST Pro Troll 8524. It's a 24-footer instead of a 26. Has 26-inch tubes instead of 25, and it has a 2.25 horse outboard Merc instead of a 300. It's got Garmin electronics instead of Lowrance. I love it. I love it. It's a beautiful machine. It fishes very well. I just need to try to get back in the groove very, very quickly because I'm taking a 3-month summertime fishing season and compressing it into 2.5 weeks, which is obviously impossible, but I'm going to do the best that I can. Ross said it's $500 to cover the cabin and the food. I am charged per person staying in the cabin. You'll have your own bedroom. Steve says, yep, Al Stewart. Aaron, all good. Storms cleared out. Good luck at the golf outing and on Skinny Water. Thank you, Aaron. How long ago were those storms in Fowlerville, Aaron? Steve says, great supporters and great pizza. Steve is aware of Pizza Sam's in downtown Midland. Hey, Larry, Rabbit Homesteading, how are you? I don't know whether to believe you on that or not, Joe. Kevin said, great show Sunday. Listen to the whole broadcast while on the road. Thank you. Last week's show I thought was phenomenal. I think they're all as good as I can possibly make them, but last week had Nick Grillo, it had Mark Romanek, and it had Ted Nugent. And Nugent was very, very good. He was, I don't want to say he was subdued because he's never subdued, ever, but he wasn't as far out as he is sometimes. We had a very nice conversation. I enjoyed it tremendously. Hey, Steve Wyndham, I want you to look at this post right here from Ross. And I'm almost reluctant to even follow up on this because Ross is so generous. Ross Elliott is saying, hey, Mike, what about a bear hunt in Canada? Any donations for that? Ross, we don't have any bear hunts being donated. We don't have anything, Ross. I would never ask you to do that, Ross, because you are so generous and you've helped me out so much. I would never ask for that, and I'm not going to ask for one now. Good question, Steve. How many bear points are needed for the Baldwin unit? I'm going to say 16, 17, 18, 19. Somebody help me out. Agreed, Linda. Bear hunting is an incredible experience. Taking a bear is just a bonus. I always do. Just got a text from Ross. Honestly, if I can keep from crying on camera because I got tears in my eyes right now. Ross just said you do. He sent me a text. He says you do now. It is that type of support of everything that I do that has allowed me to survive for 40 years in this business, to try to be relevant for 40 years, and I think have some degree of success. But I've been able to do this because the projects I've been involved in and the people that I've surrounded myself with are good, solid people, like Craig Plowman, like Ross Elliott. Thank you, Ross. Ross just donated a $3,000 bear hunting trip for the second annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing. I never even thought of that, Ross. It wasn't even on my radar screen. I know you and I had been talking about your bear hunts, but I never thought of a donation of a bear hunt. I would never have asked you, but it means a lot. You're a good man. I really, really appreciate it, Ross. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Jay, good evening. How have I been? I'm better now. See, Steve keeps doing this to me. Steve, you got to understand marketing, buddy. And I know you do. I'm just busting your chops. I keep telling people I don't use the number of spots we have open. I say we've got a few spots left, but you want to get involved now so you don't get left out. And then Steve comes on here and says, we got 40 spots left. Steve, what am I going to do with you? But those 40 spots will go fast. Tommy, good evening, buddy. How are you? Aaron says about an hour ago they went through there. Jim says, yeah, last week's show was a nice one. It was. Steve says, we'd love one. You got one now. You got one now. Hey, Ross, I'm going to go out on a limb. Steve, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Ross, again, I didn't take a close look at that list. I don't know if you have signed up for this year's event. If you have not signed up and you want to play, your green fees are on us. And if they're not on us, Steve, it's on me. So, Ross, if you want to play, you're in, buddy. Tommy says he's holding 10 points right now. That's not enough. Linda says at least 15 for Baldwin, if not $1 million. I agree. Behind the SVRC marketplace. Now, aren't you on the river, Joe? It is awesome, isn't it? Very awesome, Ross. Good evening, Mike. How are you? Hello, James. Book said 8 to 9 points in Baldwin last year. I gotta believe it's more than that. Steve is saying, thank you, Ross. Johnny Bowler. Now, listen, guys. Let's not get carried away. I appreciate this. And, Johnny, I appreciate this very much. Steve Wyndham, Johnny Bowler just says he's got a brook trout fishing for us on the Fox. Johnny's another guy. Again, when I talk about surrounding myself with wonderful, beautiful, top-notch people, I've been very lucky. I've been very blessed to do this. And this is an example of it. These guys are examples of this. Thank you, Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer. And by the way, if you're looking for a Michigan bear guide in the Newberry district, I'm pretty sure Johnny is booked up for the first or second season, but he may have some openings for the third season. Thank you, Johnny. Doggone it, guys. Here's another guy so generous. Doug Ward, Captain Doug Ward. He has, I think, Doug, I think you did. If I'm putting you in a corner, I apologize, but I'm 95% sure that Doug had earlier donated a fishing charter for us. See, it's this kind of support behind it, and it's supporting me, right? But more than that, it's getting behind a good, positive cause. The cause of the MUCC Youth Camp and getting kids involved in the outdoors. What higher calling can there be? In my world, there's God, family, country, and kids in the outdoors. So if we can do something to help get kids involved in the outdoors, we're doing a good thing, and when you do good things happen, and that's what we're seeing here in this event. Thank you, Cap. Hello, Joe. Steve said that's only 10 foursomes. Knock off the number, Wyndham. Ross said the same thing. Maybe I could pull some strings and get the state to donate an elk tag. That ain't happening. You can't play, but you'll be there. I understand, Ross. I understand completely. I gotcha. Craig says, I need to talk to Steve sometime soon. Holy shit. Really, Craig? Okay. I will shoot you Steve's, and yes, I did intentionally just say SHIT. Craig, I will, when I'm done here, I will send you Steve's contact info. Steve, be looking for a text or a phone call from my good buddy Craig Plowman. Johnny says, just do it. Steve says, heck yes. No, there will be no online bidding at the auction for those of you out of state. And I appreciate that. The auction is only available to people at the venue, at the event. However, and I'm not trying to be a jerk or be pushy here. If you would like to support the event, if you go to mucc.org/golf, you can get involved in helping to make this happen. Hey, Roger, it looks like walleye fishing was good for you. It's okay. It's not, I got 14 fish, which for my first real fishing trip on a new boat with gear that had not been touched for a year, it was okay. I'm going out again tomorrow, weather permitting, and try to get things dialed in a little bit more. But, we got 14 eater fish, 7 of them in shallow on number 7 flicker minnows, and the other half of them out deep, like 25 feet deep, on spoons behind jet divers. Genesee Bridge, they're banging them. No kidding. Wow, Joe. I mean, I'm glad to hear that. Boats or shore? Evening, Gene. How are you? It's mutual. Bernie says, well, Johnny and Ross, these guys have respect for you. It's mutual. I have much respect for these guys, as I do for everybody on here tonight. I mean, you support me, and I appreciate it. Right underneath the Genesee Bridge. I tell you a little something, Joe. 35, almost 40 years ago, that was my favorite hot spot on the river. Biggest walleye I've ever hooked into in the river system was right underneath that bridge, trolling through there. I caught a big post-spawn female, got her to the net, and couldn't get her in the net. Johnny, I'm full. I can't take any more hunters, or I would donate a bear hunt. But if you want to do for one next season, send it. Hold off, Johnny. Hold off. Let's not jam you up yet. I appreciate that. We've got a bear hunt. Scott Keatsman. If I threw in a shoulder mount for bear, which Scott has never done before, in with Ross's bear donation, that would make it a $4,000 value. Hint, hint. Can I take that hint, hint as the gospel? Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy, linwoodtaxidermy.com. This thing is blowing up, my friends. Doug said, I did. Good cause. Hey, Kimmy, how you doing? Or just send him an email to swindham@mucc.org. Steve, let me send you a real quick text. The Mike Avery food plot. This is wonderful, folks. Mickey, good evening. How are you? That's so true, Tony. If you surround yourself with good people, good things, they will happen. And you're one of those good people. Thank you, Steve, for bringing us back to this. You had earlier mentioned the charity shoot. Give us the details on that again, please. Give us the details on that again. Michelle. Wow. You know what's interesting, and I gotta get to the stuff I gotta get to tonight. Remember how the golf outing came about in the first place? It was on a Wednesday night live last spring, and I was talking about my goals for uh, the summer last year were to play more golf and to fish more. And a guy named Bill Lincoln, oh, I haven't seen Bill on here tonight. He said, "Hey, have you ever thought about having a golf outing?" I'm like, "No." And Bill or somebody else chimed in and said, they're really good fundraisers and they're a lot of fun. I said, fundraiser. Yeah, maybe we could do that. And by the end of the 45-minute Wednesday night live, we had committed to doing a golf outing. I had committed to doing it outdoor related. I had not locked in MUCC's youth camp yet. And Kevin Hannis of the West Branch Country Club, the superintendent there, was on here and he said, "You can come to our club and have it on a Wednesday night live." I did have a great fourth, TJ. Yeah, it's a beautiful boat, Gene. I'm going to do a walkthrough tomorrow. I'm going to do a walkthrough tomorrow of that boat. Ross Elliott says the most profound thing and something that I have thought about many, many times. God put us all together for a reason, brother. Amen. Corey says, "Mike, I appreciate your support of me and the NWT at Outdoor Driven." Outdoor Driven is the group that is going to get the proceeds from the charities of the Mike Avery Outdoors signature Rapid River knife. This is not that knife, but it will be this model knife, meaning it will be a Uper pocket clip. Chris Durson and I have been going back and forth, trying to get just the perfect design. I thought we had it. I talked more closely to Chris, and he said, "I can't do that design in the amount, in the volume, in the bulk that you need it." He said, "I could make you a dozen of those knives, but I can't make you a couple hundred of those knives." So we continue to go back and forth. Chris has been very, very patient in getting that knife off the ground. I suspect any time now. Mike Smith, offshore account. Good evening, Mike. If you have a need for any more trips in the golf outing, I can give up a buyer's choice trip, walleye or salmon. Steve, Wyndham, another trip right there if we want it. Mike Smith is a great guy. Offshore account, good friend of my son James. I met him through my son James. He became a friend of mine. Mike, that is absolutely wonderful. S. Wyndham. Same thing, Steve. I will send you. Contact info for Mike Smith. Mike Smith, thank you. Hey, Mike, a real quick question for you, purely personal. If my, and I'm talking about now for tomorrow and Friday, if my skinny water does not produce tomorrow morning or Friday morning, where is my next best choice without running 10 miles? Jim talking to Craig. Scott says, "If you want it, you got it. Throw it in as a taxidermy included. Shoulder mount bear." Thank you, Scott. This is phenomenal. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. Walleye fishermen in Alpena for the Cabela's National Walleye Tour tomorrow and Friday. Here we go, Stephen. Thank you. August 8th at the Multi Lakes for the youth camp. $125 includes ammo and lunch with raffles, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 1 p.m. flight times. August 8th. Where do we sign up? Steve, where do we sign up? Great people all around us there are. Thank you, Steve. August 8th, Multi Lakes Conservation Association. Oh, just like the golf outing is mucc.org/golf. If you want to sign up for that event, it's mucc.org/shoot. mucc.org/youth. Shoot. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Really, Mike? Okay. I know when you tried to get in there the other day, it was full of weeds, but as we both know, that can change from day to day. Okay. I will keep that in mind, and maybe I will even make a maybe I'll even make a run over there tomorrow morning. Amazing supporters, there's no doubt about that. Okay, let me get to some business, if we can call it that, right? I mean, is this really business or is this just fun? We're sitting here shooting the breeze, talking about the outdoors. Raise your hand. I asked you this last week. I'm asking it again. How many? Hey, Brent. Brent was fishing with me the other day. How you doing, buddy? Um, Raise your hand. How many of you have heard of cicada? I asked you last week. I want to know this week if the numbers have increased. Not yet, Joe. I'm getting to it. We've had a busy night so far. I have the new Angler Quest, QUEST. It is a beautiful boat. I have thought every one of my Angler Quests has been a beautiful boat, and I think I've had 7 of them now, roughly 7. They've all been beautiful boats, but the fit and finish, the feel, the solidness, the workstation on this boat is the best yet. I can't say enough about this boat. Um, Following up on last week's show, we had an Ask Avery question. A farmer, and I thought it was a joke at first, and I realized I think he was serious. He said, look, if I can get crop damage permits for deer, I have one field that the rabbits are just tearing it up. Can I get a crop damage permit for rabbits? I reached out to the DNR, and they said if the damage is substantial enough, and if the farmer can prove it, yes, a crop damage permit for rabbits could indeed be written. And I said that on the air last week. So a friend of mine, John Haderer, sent me an email, and he said, Mike, the info you put out last week is really not true. He said, if you go to the DNR's own digest, it says that you can shoot rabbits causing damage year-round, out of season. You don't need a crop damage permit. You can just do it. I talked about Ross's bear hunts, $3,000, who just donated a $3,000 hunt to us. Richard P. Smith. Oh, let me get a couple more comments here. Joe heard him today. Okay. Yep. Brent says that boat's amazing. And Brent has actually fished on several of my Angler Quest boats. Linda, so are you liking the larger tubes on the new boat? That's a very interesting question. These are 26-inch tubes as opposed to 25-inch tubes. There's only two Angler Quest boats in existence that have 26-inch tubes. One on Brad Dupuis, Mr. Angler Quest's boat. He's got an 85-26 Pro Troll. And mine, an 85-24. Those are the only 2 boats out there with 26-inch tubes. Brad did it as an experiment. Oftentimes the boats I run are pseudo-prototype boats to see what's going to work and what's not going to work. The thinking is at this point, and Brad's got far more experience on it than I do, but just my limited experience so far is you don't notice a difference in the ride with the bigger tubes, which was the thinking. Bigger tubes, better ride. There's not really much of a difference in the ride between the 25-inch tubes and the 26-inch tubes. However, where you do notice it, and this is a minor negative, the top-end speed drops off 4 or 5 miles an hour. Not that that's really a concern with a fishing boat. I mean, how many days are you going to go out there and rip across the bay full throttle? I never do. So I think that is something that will just be an experiment for this year and probably will not come to fruition in the future. But it's nice to be able to work with Brad so closely that he will allow me the use of a boat that has a feature like this so we can check it out and see how it's going. Okay, who's on the radio show this week? My first guest this week is a guy named Jim Felgenauer. Jim has been around the outdoor and conservation scene in Michigan for many years. Randy says he got lots of rain, an inch of rain. Down in Saginaw Township, Randy, if I remember right? We didn't get that much rain up here. I bet we got a half an inch of rain, though, in about a half hour. I mean, it poured earlier in the afternoon. I don't think we saw an inch of rain, though. Jim Felgenauer talks about a couple of things, including sturgeon fishing. That season opens the 16th. And he's been intimately involved in the St. Clair Sturgeon Group. He's one of the founding fathers and former president. stclairsturgeon.org, stclairsturgeon.org. But we also talked about the need to be involved in the fight today. And by the fight, I mean the fight for conservation, the fight for wildlife, the fight for hunting and fishing. That Jim and I both agreed that the time to sit back and watch and hope and wait is past. And I think Steve Wyndham from MUCC would agree as well that, you know, if you are a part of the lifestyle, as most of us on here are tonight, you need to get involved. One really quick, easy, cheap way to do it, become a member of MUCC. $40 a year. Johnny's going to take off. All right, buddy. I appreciate you. Appreciate your generosity. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Bernie. Randy says yes, Saginaw Township. Okay. So I talked to Jim for most of the first hour. In our second hour, Mark Copeland, who is the manager of Jay's Sporting Goods Gaylord store. But we talk about getting ready for archery season. It's really not too early, especially if you are a traditional shooter. If you shoot a recurve, if you shoot a recurve or a longbow, you should be practicing now. Talk to Mark about that. Then DNR wildlife biologist Adam Bump on the pheasant poult survey that's going on. If you see a hen with poults, DNR is asking you to report them so they can get a better track of how many turkeys there are out there. I think, anecdotally, the number of turkeys across the state is down. Adam says it may be in some areas, but not statewide. He also sticks around to answer this week's Ask Avery question about the effectiveness of the new pheasant program where the DNR is going out and releasing male birds just before the season, like a put and take resource. And then in our third hour, Captain Bobby Sullivan of Icebreaker Charters, icebreakerfishingcharters.com, the guy whose client caught a new state record king salmon 4 years ago. Bobby is moving from fishing Saginaw Bay walleye all summer over to Lake Michigan king salmon. And we talk about that transition from a gear perspective and from a mindset perspective, how those two types of fisheries are different. Steve says mucc.org/join. I think we had a pretty productive show tonight, didn't we? Let me put this up here one more time. I'm pushing very hard for this event for a few reasons, and I'll be completely honest. Because my name is involved in this, I have a certain amount of pride that it is a successful event and a fun event. And that is a factor. That's one reason why I push it so hard. The other reason is I think it's for a really good cause. And I would encourage you, you don't have to be a great golfer. If you got a foursome and want to join us, that's fine. If you're a single and want to join us, that's fine. Go to mucc.org/golf and you can sign up to join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Your stories and laughter keep us beguiled. Every fish that you catch, every heart you embrace brings us closer to nature's grace. You know what that means? That means we're wrapping up another edition of Wednesday Night Live. This one a very special Wednesday Night Live, as I had so many friends come out and help support the golf outing. I appreciate that. Again, if you want to be involved, mucc.org/golf, mucc.org/golf. I am fishing tomorrow, weather permitting. I am fishing Friday, weather permitting. I'll let you know how it goes. I will also plan on shooting a walkthrough of that new Angler Quest, anglerquestpontoons.com. So